Hi there, we're ADV Marketing, a marketing agency that develops high-quality and cost-effective marketing materials. Our relationship-driven business model and customized marketing solutions makes us the perfect partner for small businesses looking to grow. I'm your host, Lina Rice. Join Sarah and me here on Marketing Matters every other Monday to discuss business-to-business marketing topics. Now let's get into the episode. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. Sarah, we got another episode going on.
I know, finally.
We've been really busy lately.
Yeah, beginning of the year stuff. Although I always say that, and then like the middle of the year it's the same, and the end of the year it's the same. So like, I don't know.
Yes, but there's been something specifically that we've been a little bit busy with our clients.
Yeah, you're right.
It's conference season.
Yep.
At least for our clients in the energy industry, some of the biggest conferences are going on basically between February and April.
Yeah.
A couple stragglers in May.
Yeah.
But it's typically that first half of the year where most of our clients have conferences of some kind.
Yeah, and they're very busy because there's so much, like the title of the episode, I won't spoil it, but there's so much that happens before, during, and after. It's more than just the 2 or 3 days that you're there.
Exactly.
Yep.
You're correct. So, okay, so let's dive into that a little bit.
Yeah.
So, Sarah, I'm going to say the title of the episode. If you're going to a conference, if you're just going to a conference, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
So, walk me through kind of what you said. So, that before. Mm-hmm. A lot of people probably do just go to conferences and show up and hang out and leave.
Yeah.
So what should people be doing to prepare before the conference?
Well, first you have to understand why you're going to the conference.
I could not agree more.
Yes. So there's different objectives for each conference. Not every conference is created equal. So like
completely agree.
Even the people attending the different conferences are different. Like if it's a conference full of like other salespeople, it's a different kind of conversation than if like all the engineers are going to a conference because it's very technically focused.
I definitely think that you need to realize that some conferences you're going to be the person that people are buying the product for, and some conferences you're going to be the person buying the product from someone else.
Yeah.
So you need to know what type of conference is this and what are you trying to accomplish.
And what your position is too.
Setting goals is important.
Yes. And then it also helps a lot if you know that, because then you can direct all of your efforts to be very specific and effective, and you're not wasting your energy, because it's very easy to waste a lot of energy at an event.
It is.
And if you're not focused, then you just don't know how to focus all of your resources. So,
okay, Sarah, I'm going to come to you as a business owner.
Yeah.
I'm going to a conference. Me and 3 of my top people in my company are going to go to this conference. Mm-hmm. How do we set goals? We're going to a conference. We're meeting people. We're talking to people. But that's a very vague thing that we're doing. So what are we going to measure to even know what kind of goal we could set?
Yes. Okay, so first I would want to know if any of the people are speaking or presenting.
That's important.
And establishing themselves as a subject matter expert, because if you have that opportunity and if you have someone in a company that is presenting, that is an opportunity for messaging and content that you really should not miss.
Yeah.
Because it is a huge credibility boost. It is very public. It's advertised on lots of different channels, and if you have your voice coordinated with all of those other channels too, like the conferences, social media platforms, the collaborators, if there are any, coordinating all of that gives you a lot of amplification for whatever you're talking about.
You're completely right.
So you really want to make sure you know if someone's speaking, and then also have a coordinated plan around that and start talking about it beforehand.
Definitely.
So you want people to know that you are speaking and to look out for the room number or the schedule or the day or whatever multiple weeks in advance, and then keep reminding them.
Exactly.
So that's something for sure. Next, you want to know if you're sponsoring or you have a booth there.
Right.
Which we will talk about the reasoning behind having a booth or sponsoring, but you just want to know. You want to coordinate
Are you doing that or not?
Yes. What materials do you need? What is your booth setup going to look like? Do you need to spend more money on this booth?
Yeah.
Or can you go with the lighter booth setup and it'd be fine? So that's something you need to know about too. And then also who is attending. And a lot of the who's going to be there, who you need to talk to comes from asking your own personal network.
Right.
And then also seeing what they're posting on LinkedIn.
Don't neglect your current clients.
Yes. It's a great relationship
important.
building activity as well.
Especially if they are distant clients that maybe are not local and so you don't see them face to face. You might have a lot of Zoom calls, but that face to face contact is still very important, especially in a post-COVID world where a lot of people work remote or we're just not as out as we used to be. So those little opportunities everybody's very excited about. So if you make an effort to see them, it'll go a long way.
Yes. And it is cheaper to get work from someone you've already worked with than acquiring a new client.
That is true.
So don't discount who you already work with.
This is true.
But it's also so conferences are just a concentration of everyone you would want to speak to at once. So there's a lot of opportunity there as long as you're very intentional about what you're doing when.
I completely agree. Okay, so we've prepared. We're going to go to this conference. What should we do while we're at the conference as far as marketing goes for my small business?
Okay, so here's the thing, and here's the secret to events. The showy exhibition hall with all of the booths that so many companies spend so much money on is not the main event. Deals are not being made at your booth.
I completely agree.
Yeah, hot take right there. I don't know, ruffle some feathers. But unless you just have this magic booth set up, which I really doubt. I really have to talk to somebody. What's
been really interesting, and our experienced conference goers, I guess I should say, will notice, booths have changed a lot in the past 5 years, which is not a long time for anything business related at all. So we've started to see that people are realizing exactly what you just said. Things don't happen at the booth. Things happen elsewhere. And so what people have started doing, and you'll notice it, especially at very large companies with very large budgets, is their booth now looks like a conference room. Or, some last year at a conference, one company set up their booth. Rather than making a booth where they presented about their company and all the traditional things, they turned their booth into a beer garden. And served beer. And it was amazing. And everybody went, and they gave out free alcohol. And they didn't do it until the afternoon, a happy hour. But unfortunately, you could not get a mimosa in the morning.
No,
but it was a very untraditional way to have a booth, and everybody was talking about their booth and talking about the company. And so I think the thing that you have to realize is think of your booth solely for the purpose of name recognition.
Yes. And I'll add on to that, starting conversations.
Exactly.
So deals are not being made at the booth. Someone's not going to come to you and be like, submit me a proposal right now.
Okay. I'm going to pause you there. While the deal is not being made at the booth, if you inevitably plan on taking your clients off-site, be sure it's convenient, both in location and time. Because if you want to take your clients away at the peak hour of socializing at the conference, they're not going to like that. And if you want to take them far, they're not going to like that either.
Nope.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah, be very coordinated with where you're taking them. But anyway, deals are not being made. No one is like, I want to give you money right now here at this booth. But they do want to come up to you and ask you questions if they're new and they've never seen you before. And they're looking for things to start conversations about because they're also networking events. So, in my professional opinion, a booth should have the materials you need to have the conversations that are good for your business.
Completely agree.
And that match your messaging. So it's not necessarily about having the most gimmicky booth, although the bar is great because people have conversations at bars. And so it's right along with
it was a very neat concept. And they had picnic tables set up at their booth. So they had a very large booth in case that wasn't obvious. But they had I think 4 very small, 2-person picnic tables that people could sit at. And it was just very cute and very well done.
And welcoming.
Very welcoming.
You don't want people to feel intimidated going up to your booth. You want to give them reasons to come up to you to talk. But the magic does not happen at the booth.
Don't
the introduction to magic Yeah, that's true. Don't stand behind.
Please don't stand behind your
Don't
table.
close yourself
That's not
off.
welcoming.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's uncomfortable to stand in front of the table. So you do need to get creative in your booth design, which is probably a whole separate episode. But just don't do that.
Yeah. So starting conversations, welcoming people into the conversation, and then also, so you mentioned this name recognition. Business to business does not have billboards. Like, that is not in the channel mix. That is not a real possibility.
You say that, you're never going to believe what I saw the other day.
Oh my gosh. What is
A billboard
for
a business to business company.
Oh my gosh.
Can you guess the company? Because it's one that we use.
Is it Monday?
Yes.
I know.
They have billboards in Houston, and I drive by it, and I'm like, what is the point of this billboard?
I know.
Because I also don't get the billboard at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what they're trying to, it's the wording that doesn't make any sense to me, but
Also,
that's a different conversation.
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on that. But anyway, billboards, like, you really have to have a lot of reason to want a billboard as a B2B
But that was
company.
just very interesting that they had one.
There's just so much waste coverage
Completely
in billboards. But, this is my big but, for booths at conferences, first of all, your audience is extremely targeted, right?
Yes.
Like, it's your network that's seeing that booth.
Yes, this is account-based marketing at its finest.
Yes, so it's the people you want to see, especially if it's a conference that is worth for you to go to.
Exactly.
And geared towards your industry.
Exactly.
And then people do see booths. And if you make them memorable, you just have the challenge of making them, like,
And obviously
actually
this
good.
is from the perspective of a conference you would go to where you want to gain clients, not you becoming the client.
Yes. This is where you would exhibit or sponsor. But so that is a reason too. Like, and then people see you. You also, if you have the expectation that you're going to have a booth, like if you're of a certain size and that's just the role you play in the industry, then you have to meet that expectation, or people are going to be like, why didn't you have a booth? So there's also that element of it. But there's lots of reasons to have a booth and to sponsor.
Completely agree.
But it's not the main event.
Right. Okay. So it leads us to, you've gone to the conference. You had a small booth, because let's be honest, unless you're Amazon or Walmart, you don't need a massive booth. Like, unless you're the Amazon or Walmart of your industry, you can get away with the small, regular sized
And
booth.
even those larger companies are not investing as much in large booths. They're still going smaller because they would rather host a big party afterwards.
That's it.
Than do the booth.
So you've hosted your clients in some form or fashion, and now you've gone home.
Yeah.
You're back in your day-to-day desk and job and all the things. What do you do now? Do you just go on with your life?
You probably have a really thick stack of business cards if you were exhibiting. So then that goes directly into your customer relationship management portal, so you keep the contacts.
Pro tip, if you use any mainstream CRM, if you download their app, you can scan your business card and it'll automatically upload the information into your CRM.
Yeah.
So you don't have to, like, type it.
Yeah.
Pro tip.
Really nice.
It is.
But saving all that information, following up where you need to follow up.
Making notes.
Yep, business is lost because people just didn't follow up. So, like, that's a huge part of it. Anyone you had conversations with, and thinking about next year's event. So, like, and then planning for the next one. Submitting abstracts, submitting papers, convincing the people that need to write the abstracts and the papers to present. That is a huge part, because the prep for having a really impactful experience at a conference takes a year. Yeah. Because you have to know what you're presenting, who you're going to meet. Right. Also, we should say, like, the client meetings you have at the conference, like, 80% of them should be planned before you go to the conference.
Yes. Like, unless the client is the one not committing.
Yeah.
This should be planned.
Yeah, like, you should know who's going to be there, and then you should already have an email in their inbox or a phone call or a voicemail or something. Reach out to them and be like, hey, I want to take you to brunch, lunch, dinner, happy hour, any of those things during the conference. And then you like have side reservations for if, like, a new client pops up or someone, like, you leave room for meeting new people and the unexpected, but you also have a whole slate of activities planned beforehand.
Exactly.
Beforehand.
Exactly.
During.
Okay, Sarah. We have covered so much in this episode about going to conferences. So, speed round.
Yeah.
Give me the number one thing you want someone to do before they go to the conference.
Plan out how you're going to amplify key activities like presentations.
Okay, now what's the number one thing they need to do while they're at the conference?
Oh, there's so much to do.
You get to pick one.
I don't know. What's yours?
I would probably say make time for your existing clients because I think that's something that gets forgotten.
See, I just didn't have the confidence to say it. You said it more. Yeah, definitely making time for that and then having those meetings.
Yes.
Like that was the immediate thing that popped in my mind. And I was like,
that works.
Is there anything else?
Okay, now what's the number one thing when you go home after the conference?
Follow up. Keep it going. Keep the leads warm.
Yep.
All of the sales things. Like it doesn't just end because you met with them once.
Right.
And then the people that might not have seemed that interested or that enthusiastic when you met with them the first time could eventually turn into like your key client.
Exactly.
So just maintaining the relationship and networking continuously.
Completely agree.
Yeah.
Well, I think this was a great episode. I really hope that y'all learned so much. Feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn with any other episodes that you maybe want us, topics that you want us to cover.
Yeah.
And we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.